Have you ever been so deeply hurt? And your first instinct was to explode, to defend yourself, to prove a point? But what if I told you that silence, yes, silence, is your greatest weapon? Not revenge, not explanation, just walking away. Not everything needs a response. Not everyone deserves a reaction. Sometimes the best answer is no answer at all. Sometimes the most powerful goodbye is the one you don't say out loud. Cutting someone off doesn't always have to be loud or dramatic. In fact, the quietest exits are often the strongest. But let's be real, doing it the right way isn't easy. It takes self-control, clarity, and a deep understanding of your own worth. So let's break this down, step by step. Some people thrive on chaos. They push your buttons, not because they care, but because they want a reaction. That's how they feel in control. Maybe they say something just to get under your skin. Maybe they ghost you, then suddenly return to stir confusion. Maybe they keep poking at old wounds just to see if you'll bleed again. Don't give them that satisfaction. Silence is not weakness. It is strength. Every time you refuse to engage, you are saying, you no longer have the power to disturb my peace. And yes, it might be tempting to clap back, to explain, to defend. But remember, reacting feeds their ego. Your calmness, that confuses them. And sometimes, confusion is better than confrontation. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to hold a grudge. But you do have to protect yourself. That means stop replying to their late-night texts. Stop answering calls that leave you feeling drained. Stop attending conversations where you're only heard when you scream. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your life. Your time and energy are sacred. Create distance, both emotionally and physically. You don't have to block them unless you need to. Just become unavailable. Become harder to reach. Let your absence speak louder than your presence ever did. You're not being cold. You're being clear. You're choosing your peace over their drama. You don't have to make a scene. You don't need a long message saying, I'm cutting you off. Why? Because people who truly care wouldn't have put you in a position where silence became your only option. So instead of talking about it, just be about it. Don't over-explain. Don't give final warnings. Don't threaten to leave, just leave. Let them feel your absence. Let them notice the quiet where there used to be noise. Let them realize what they lost in silence. And remember, your silence is not empty. It's full of dignity, healing, and boundaries. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Cutting people off silently isn't about revenge. It's about respecting yourself enough to stop showing up for people who wouldn't do the same for you. It's not easy, but it's necessary. You're not weak for walking away quietly. You're strong for choosing peace. You're wise for no longer arguing with those who only listen to reply, not to understand. So, the next time someone tries to bait you, drain you, or guilt you into staying, just breathe, step back, and let your silence do the talking. We live in a world where people are quick to trigger us, on purpose. Some people know exactly what to say to hurt you, to push your buttons, to throw you off balance. And the truth is, the moment you react, you hand over your power. When someone disrespects you or says something cruel, your first instinct might be to defend yourself, to shout, explain, or fight back. That's human. But here's the hidden danger. When you react emotionally, you let them control your state of mind. Think about it. If someone could say a few words and ruin your whole day, who really hold the power in that moment? It's not you, it's them. Some people want that control. They feed on your anger. They enjoy watching you spiral. Your reaction gives them exactly what they were hoping for, a sense of dominance. Why give someone that satisfaction? This is hard to accept, especially if you're the type of person who likes to fix things, explain yourself, or clear misunderstandings. But here's the reality. Some people aren't confused. They're just committed to misunderstanding you. You can explain yourself 100 times, and they'll still twist your words. Not because they don't understand, but because they don't care about the truth. They care about controlling the narrative. That's why it's so important to be selective with your energy. Protect your peace. Not everyone is worth your time, your thoughts, or your explanations. think of your energy like money. Would you give your money to someone who constantly disrespects you? Then why give them your attention? Here's the painful truth. Some people want a reaction. They provoke you on purpose. They'll lie, insult, or manipulate you just to see you lose it. When you snap, they smile inside, because now they can say, "Look how crazy they are," or "See, I told you they were emotional." Your reaction becomes their excuse. It doesn't matter if you were right. If you scream, cry, or lash out, you become problem in their story. And that's the trap. Don't fall for it. Don't give them that satisfaction. Let them talk. Let them lie. Let them do what they do best. But you stay calm. You stay quiet. You walk away. That's how you win. You don't owe anyone your reaction. You don't have to defend your worth. You don't have to explain yourself to people who already decided not to respect you. Your silence is your boundary. Your peace is your power. So the next time someone tries to pull you into a war with their words, ask yourself, do they deserve access to my peace? Is this worth my mental energy? Or is silence the answer this time? Sometimes, silence is the most powerful scream. In a world where everyone rushes to speak, post, argue, and prove themselves, silence is rare and valuable. When someone disrespects or provokes you, your natural impulse may be to react, to defend, to explain. But silence takes strength. Reacting is easy. Responding in anger is easy. But holding your peace, that takes emotional discipline. It shows you reach a level of self-mastery where not every insult deserves your energy and not every battle deserves your sword. Mature people understand that silence doesn't mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means you've learned that not every situation requires a reaction. Some just require distance. Is my reaction going to make things better or worse? Am I in control of my emotions, or are they controlling me? Choosing silence is choosing dignity. It's choosing not to stoop down to a level where chaos reigns. Toxic people feed on attention. They push your buttons to see if you'll explode. They need your reaction. It validates their control. But when you respond with calmness, or better yet, with silence, they lose that control. They get confused. They start wondering, why isn't he reacting? Why isn't she fighting back like before? Did I lose my grip on them? That's the power of silence. It disarms them. It breaks the cycle. When you don't feed the drama dies. Your silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's how you win a war without swinging a sword. So when they throw insults, stay silent. When they twist your words, stay silent. When they beg for a reaction, walk away. Because they're not looking for truth. They're looking for control. And your silence denies them that. You don't always need to explain why you left, why you stopped talking, or why you're no longer available. Your absence is explanation enough. When someone loses access to you, your voice, your time, your energy, they start to feel it. Even the most arrogant person will feel your silence. Eventually, you didn't shout. You didn't send a long message. You just disappeared. And in that space, your message becomes louder than any words ever could. Sometimes, the loudest message is the one you don't send. Absence teaches people what presence once meant. And when you're no longer there to fix, explain, or defend, they start to realize how much noise they brought into your life and how peaceful it is now that you're gone. Silence shows that you're strong enough not to argue. It protects your peace. It confuses people who are trying to manipulate you. And it sends a message without you saying a word. Who in your life has been feeding off your reaction? And what would happen if you stopped responding? If you just became silent? Everyone makes mistakes. We're human. But when someone keeps disrespecting you over and over again and keeps betraying your trust, it's not a mistake anymore. It's a pattern. Maybe they lie to you. Maybe they mock you in public and call it a joke. Maybe they talk behind your back, but smile to your face. Or maybe they say sorry just to buy more time to do it again. If someone constantly undermines your value, then chooses to repeat that behavior even after you've told them how much it hurts you, that's not love, that's not care, that's not friendship. That's a sign that it's time to walk away, not to hurt them, but to protect yourself. You cannot heal in a place that keeps cutting you. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes it's survival. Let's be honest, communication is the foundation of every relationship. But if you're the one always listening, always compromising, always initiating, and the other person only talks about themselves or twists your words, you're not in a conversation. You're in a monologue, and you're just the audience. Worse still, some people are skilled manipulators. They guilt trip you. They gaslight you. They make you feel like you're always a problem, even when you're the one hurting. If you express pain and they make it about them, if they use your vulnerabilities against you, if you're constantly walking on eggshells just to keep the peace, then it's not a relationship. It's an emotional trap. And the most peaceful escape? Walk away quietly. No arguments. No explanations. You deserve reciprocity, not emotional labor. A one-sided relationship is like a bird with one wing. It will never fly. Set it down. You weren't made to carry what breaks you. Here's one of the most silent but deepest signs that it's time to move on. When you get into a conflict or even a calm discussion, they'll quickly bring up how you made them feel, how you hurt them, even if it was unintentional. But when it comes to your pain, your tears, your broken trust, they suddenly have selective memory. They minimize it. They say things like, "That was a long time ago," or "You're too sensitive," or worse, they pretend it never happened at all. This shows you one thing. They value their feelings more than your reality. They keep score when it benefits them, but erase your pain like it never mattered. That's not balance. That's emotional selfishness. When someone can only see what hurts them, but never what they've done to you, you're not in a partnership. You're being emotionally neglected. And no, you don't need to yell to be heard. You don't need to beg to be seen. Just leave, silently, not out of pride, but out of peace. Don't wait for someone to finally care. Care for yourself first. Walking away is not cruelty. It's clarity. Sometimes, people won't understand why you cut them off silently. They'll say, "Why didn't you say anything?" But truth is, you did, through your kindness, through your patience, through your tears. But they didn't listen. So now, you're choosing the language they understand best. Silence. And that's okay. There's a painful myth we need to confront today. The idea that walking away from toxic people makes you cold, bitter, or heartless. But let's be clear. Cutting someone off is not cruelty. It's not revenge. It's a deeply personal act of self-love. And self-love is not selfish. When someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, disrespects your voice, or drains your emotional energy, you have two choices. Keep tolerating the pain or honor your worth by stepping away. Cutting them off doesn't mean you're trying to get back at them. It means I value myself too much to stay where I'm not valued. I don't need to scream, argue, or justify why I'm leaving. I just know I deserve better. You're not trying to hurt them. You're trying to heal yourself. Let's be honest. Some people bring nothing but confusion, tension, and emotional noise into your life. The moment you hear their name or see their message, your stomach tightens. Your energy drops. Your peace evaporates. Is that love? Is that normal? Or have you been taught to normalize pain in the name of loyalty or being a good person? Walking away doesn't make you cold. It makes you wise. It means you're choosing calm over conflict, peace over proving, healing over havoc. You're not running away. You're protecting your peace because peace is priceless. You can forgive someone without giving them access to your heart again. You can wish someone well without walking beside them anymore. You can love them from a distance. That's maturity. That's grace. That's growth. There's no rule that says you have to keep letting someone in just because you have history with them. Sometimes loving yourself means closing a chapter without slamming the book. Quietly, respectfully, but firmly. And yes, it will hurt. But temporary pain is better than lifelong peace being stolen by someone who refuses to change. The truth is, cutting people off silently, without lashing out, takes a lot of strength. It means you matured past the need for drama. You're not looking for revenge. You're looking for peace. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength under control. Silence says, I no longer owe you access to my peace. Why do I feel guilty for choosing my peace? who taught me that walking away is unkind. If someone truly valued me, would they put me in this emotional position in the first place? Cutting them off doesn't make you cold. It makes you healed. It makes you honest. It makes you free. You're not closing your heart. You're opening your life to better. So the next time someone tries to guilt you for stepping away from pain, just remember, you didn't cut them off to hurt them. You cut them off to stop them from hurting you. Walking away isn't just about turning your back. It's about turning a page. And that comes with consequences, both visible and invisible. Let's take a closer look at what really unfolds when you choose silence over confrontation. After you've walked away, especially in silence, many people who once dismissed or mistreated you will suddenly feel your absence. And yes, some of them will reach out. They might say, "Hey, I've been thinking about you lately. You didn't even explain why you left. Let's talk. I miss us." But here's the truth, and I say this with all humility and care. Not everyone who reaches out deserves a second chance. Most times, they're not reaching out because they've changed. They're reaching out because your silence disturbed their comfort. They missed a version of you that tolerated things you didn't deserve. They missed access to you, not you. So before you respond, pause and ask yourself, do they miss me, or do they miss manipulating me? Are they truly sorry, or just sorry they lost control? If nothing has changed but the silence, then your reply only reopens a wound that was already healing. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Don't let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. When you walk away in silence, something beautiful begins to bloom inside you. Peace. For the first time, you're no longer reacting, explaining, or defending yourself. You're just being. And in that stillness, you start to notice things you missed when you were emotionally exhausted. You sleep better. You think clearer. You breathe deeper. You also begin to see how chaotic that relationship or situation truly was. Things that used to confuse or hurt, you start making perfect sense in hindsight. Then comes the clarity. They never really respected me. I was always the one trying. I should have walked away sooner. And most importantly, you begin to build better boundaries, not just for them, but for everyone moving forward. You learn to say, "No, I won't tolerate that again. I deserve peace, not confusion. If it costs me my peace, it's too expensive." This is the reward of walking away quietly. It's not just freedom from them. It's freedom to love yourself better. Silence can be uncomfortable, and that's exactly why it works. When you walk away without a speech, without a final outburst, without begging to be understood, you leave them with their thoughts. You give them nothing to fight, nothing to twist, nothing to blame. Just silence. And in that silence, even the most prideful people are forced to think, why did they really leave? Did I go too far? Were they always as strong? It may not lead to a change in them. In fact, don't walk away hoping they'll change. Walk away to change you. But the truth is, your silence speaks volumes. It reveals your strength. It reveals your growth. It shows that you no longer argue for your worth. You know your worth. And on your side, you'll reflect too. Why did I stay so long? What have I learned? How do I heal and move forward now? Silence becomes your mirror. And in that mirror, you don't see a victim. You see a survivor, a healer, a person who chose peace over pride. Sometimes the most powerful message you'll ever send is no message at all. When you walk away silently, you're not being cold. You're being wise. You're refusing to let your energy be drained by people who feed on chaos. You're giving yourself room to breathe, to heal, to grow. They may reach out, but peace is not found in the people who broke you. It's found in the silence that helped you rebuild. Letting go is one of the hardest things a person can do, especially when your heart is still invested. But it's also one of the most powerful steps toward healing. Many people think letting go means losing someone, but in truth, it means finding yourself again. When you stop holding on to what hurts, what drains, what confuses, you begin to create space for something softer, stronger, and more stable. Let's be honest, some relationships, friendships, or even family ties can turn toxic. And instead of bringing peace, they bring confusion, anxiety, and constant questioning of your worth. But because we're emotionally tied to these people, we keep holding on, hoping something will change. Every time you tolerate disrespect, every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't want to understand, every time you stay out of guilt, you're packing emotional weight onto your heart. It's like carrying a suitcase filled with stones, day in, day out. But when you finally let go, when you walk away quietly without a fight or final speech, you begin to feel lighter. That heaviness in your chest begins to ease. You're not obsessing over their messages, waiting for apologies, or trying to fix things that are clearly broken. Letting go sets you free from guilt, from blame, and from the pressure to constantly prove your worth. Why am I holding on to what keeps hurting me? What version of me could exist if I wasn't carrying this weight? You'll find that freedom doesn't always come with cheer. It sometimes comes with tears, but they're cleansing ones. They're the beginning of emotional peace. When your mind is constantly consumed by toxic ties, you miss out on people who are quietly standing by, willing to love you gently and truthfully. Emotional clutter makes it hard to see clearly. It clouds your judgment. You start expecting bad treatment because that's all you've gotten used to. But once you let go of what's draining, a beautiful thing happens. You make space. Space to breathe. Space to laugh. Space to be present with those who truly care. Letting go isn't just about pushing people away. It's about pulling better people closer. Healthy relationships feel easy. You don't have to beg to be understood. You don't walk on eggshells. You feel safe, valued, and heard. But you can't experience these things if you're still mentally stuck in a situation that's harming you. Are you so busy fixing someone else that you've forgotten to nurture the people who already care? Are you ignoring love just because it doesn't come with chaos? Healing starts when you prioritize peace. And peace thrives in healthy connections. When someone constantly disrespects or devalues you, it's easy to start believing their version of you. You shrink yourself. You question your voice. You overthink every word. And over time, you lose sight of who you really are. But the moment you walk away, and I mean truly, quietly walk away, you get to hear yourself again. No more gaslighting. No more mind games. No more doubting your sanity. You begin to rebuild. You begin to remember your strength, your softness, your beauty. You start doing things not to be accepted, but because they align with your truth. You begin to set boundaries, not to push people out, but to protect your energy. This is a real healing. Rediscovering yourself without the influence of people who only wanted the broken version of you. Who are you when no one's trying to control or belittle you? What do you like, want, believe, outside of their opinion? This is where your self-worth begins to rise. Not from revenge, not from attention, but from deep internal peace. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You're not abandoning them, you're choosing you. And in that quiet, steady choice, you begin to heal. So take your time, feel the pain, but don't go back. What's behind you is not better than what's ahead, especially when you're walking forward with peace, self-respect, and clarity. Not every battle needs your sword. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to walk away, quietly, without a scene, without a word, just gone. You are not weak for cutting people off. You are wise. You are strong. You are protecting your peace. And that is power. And remember, sometimes silence speaks louder than words. If you find yourself surrounded by negativity or toxic energy, it's okay to distance yourself without explanation. You don't have to react. Just let go and move forward. Your peace is more important than any drama or unnecessary conflict. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Stay strong and stay silent when you need to.